Good morning, and welcome to the Tinley Park Public Safety Partners annual commemoration of the tragic events of September 11, 2001. I'm Forrest Reeder. I'm the fire chief here in Tinley Park, and I'm honored to present today's ceremony on behalf of all of the first responders here in the village of Tinley Park. As we start our ceremony here, I'd like to first call Trustee Bill Brennan, Chairman of the Public Safety Committee, to come forward and lead all the rank and file members in the Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Brennan, and again.
Thank you, Chief. First of all, I just want to say thanks to everyone for coming out. I really appreciate all the support you give all our first responders, our paramedics, our EMTs, firemen, police officers, not only here in Tinley Park, but around the globe and here in the United States. So thank you so very much for being here. I'd like to just start us off by starting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Very good. I'll turn it back over to Chief.
Thank you very much. Okay, real quick, just a little order of the business here today. We are going to try to stay on time for a couple of the significant events that occurred on September 11, 2001. So during the program, we may interrupt a couple of the speakers or the sequence of the program to make sure that we're paying proper honor and respect to the events of September 11, 2001. But first off, before we move any further, I'd like to real quickly welcome a couple of the elected officials and village officials that are here with us here today. First off, our thanks to Assistant Village Manager and EMA Director Pat Carr for joining us here today. Trustee Bill Brennan, as you just heard from, Trustee Mike Mueller, and Trustee Bill Brady have joined us here today. And additionally, joining them are the members on duty here today of the Tinley Park Fire Department. Again, all four of our companies, the paramedic crews that are on duty today here, again, part of the commemoration and celebration today obviously represents the dedication and the hard work and the tremendous public service that these individuals do for our community every day. Next up, I would ask Father Paul Seaman to come and join us for our invocation today. Father?
Thank you very much. The work of righteousness will be peace, and the effect of righteousness, quietness and assurance forever. Do not repay evil with evil or insult with insult. On the contrary, repay evil with blessing, because this you were called to, so that you may inherit a blessing. They must turn from evil and do good. They must seek peace and pursue it. You will not enter paradise until you believe, and you will not believe until you love one another. Shall I show you something that if you did, you would love each other? Spread peace among yourselves. These words from the Hebrew, Christian, and Muslim sacred writings call us all to the task of being peacemakers. September 11, 2001, these writings were desecrated by violence we Americans thought was unimaginable. Now, 19 years later, we recall with pain and horror that beautiful clear morning sky darkened with the smoke of burning buildings and burning people. We saw airplanes designed to make the world smaller, used to make the world a more dangerous place. We saw people of many nations and many religions die. Mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, children, innocent all, die. On that fateful day, we saw the courage of those who run toward danger rather than from it. Police, firefighters, medical personnel, clergy, many dying themselves, but all with a single purpose, to save lives. And so we pray. God of all peoples, God of all creation, we ask that you bless this day. Bless it so we can heal the wounds that have left their mark in the souls of every American who can recall that first day to be called 9/11. Protect all those who protect us, especially in these days when too many people doubt and live in mistrust, anxiety, and fear. Bless the families who lost loved ones and those who carry the burden of illness to this very day. Bless the soul of every victim who died at the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and Stony Creek Township, Pennsylvania. Bless the 72 law enforcement officers, 343 firefighters, and 2,977 civilians who died, and 25,000 who suffered injury. In a particular way, we ask your blessing on our law enforcement officers, firefighters, and emergency medical responders here today and across this great land, who stand ready to follow in their footsteps. Bless their courage, their willingness, and dedication. May we never see such a day again. Amen.
Thank you very much, Father. That was excellent. Next up just is an order of business for the day today. I'm sure our friends at marketing can make this available through the day today as possible. But there are 6 timelines of events, and we did a little bit of a mock-up using alarms on the phones, and my request is that, especially during the course of the events this morning, that if you've got the ability to set some reminders on your phone, set some reminders of, in your personal time this morning, to commemorate the 6 milestones that occurred on September 11th, 2001. At 8:46 East Coast time, the North Tower was struck. At 9:03, the South Tower was struck. At 9:37, the Pentagon was struck. At 9:59, the South Tower collapsed. At 10:07, Flight 93 crashed into the field in Pennsylvania. And finally, at 10:28, the North Tower collapsed. And again, as you go through your morning this morning, I think it's important for all of us to remember each of these 6 timelines of events that occurred. Obviously, I would ask you to adjust your watches and clocks to reflect Central Standard Time and things like that. So subtract an hour from that so that we're right on time with the pause and the remembrance of each of those events during the course of the day. Okay, so I'll continue with the program, and again, we're going to take a pause for a moment of silence at 7:46 just to make sure that we do that, and just have a couple of other remarks that I'd like to share with us here. First off, kind of a strange day today in comparison to what we had on September 11, 2001. I remember it to be just like it was in New York, a bright sunny day. But believe it or not, 19 years has passed since the day that changed almost everything we do and how we live as Americans. For the public safety professionals that we have in front of us here today, the way that we prepare, the way that we staff, and the way that we equip ourselves has never been the same since that fateful day. On that day, 343 firefighters, 23 police officers, and 37 Port Authority police were murdered alongside 2,753 innocent civilians. Since that day, and this is an important fact, hundreds more have died of cancer and other disorders caused by their rescue operations and the recovery efforts that occurred in the days past September 11th. The numbers could have been much higher, but they weren't. They weren't because the first responders who showed up did their job. They did the jobs of first responders who show up every day to do that, just like every day before and every day since. So today, I'd ask everybody just real quickly to glance over my right shoulder here. This is what we're here to honor today. And again, to me, it gives me still chills to this day to look at our piece of the World Trade Center, the beam that stands behind me here, and to know that just 19 years ago to this very minute, that particular beam was standing somewhere inside one of the 2 buildings at the World Trade Center. 19 years ago, that piece of the World Trade Center stood straight and strong inside one of the towers. Today it's here in Tinley Park, thanks to the efforts of our public safety team to give us a visual reminder that causes us to pause and never forget. I'd like to stir another memory real quickly for you here that may have surrounding these memories. And what I'd like you to think back to real quickly is how we acted as a nation on September 12th. American flags sold out of virtually every store across the country. Congress stood together on the steps of the Capitol. They stood united to sing. They stood united to deliver the Pledge of Allegiance together. People who didn't know each other held doors for each other. They carried casual conversations. They stopped and prayed together. They spent time together on September 12th. Our skies fell silent that day, and it seems at that time almost stood still for the days that followed there. And I think despite the horrific events that we were learning about, we came together as a nation. People were simply Americans. They didn't have a political affiliation, they didn't have a religious denomination, they were simply Americans on September 12th and the days that followed. Outside of the grief, and though I would never wish for another event like September 11th, I do wish for those days and those actions to be alive and well here today in our society today. At this time, it's 7:46, and again, according to our timeline, at this time, 19 years ago, the North Tower was struck by the first airplane. So I would ask for us to pause for a moment of silence to reflect, please. Thank you. And that will be during the course of our program, which again, as we've said, is a little bit condensed today because of the COVID outbreak. That will be the only time mark that will hit today. I would call upon everybody, both watching and here today, to reflect on those other 5 time marks that we mentioned a little bit earlier. So our firefighters, our police officers, our EMTs, our paramedics, our dispatchers, our entire public safety committee, we don't respond to just basic emergencies. There's nothing routine about what these great ladies and gentlemen do for our community, not just here in Tinley Park, but throughout the country. 9/11 was far from routine. In the event it was an event of the largest scale. Everything that we do in our job, like those who responded to the Twin Towers on that fateful day, requires not only constant training and readiness, but it also requires a special kind of person. These are the people who dedicate their careers and sacrifice so much to serve their communities. In Tinley Park and everywhere, they are the best. They are the best professionals, and they proudly stand before you here today and in similar ceremonies throughout the country. Most people have to get up and go to work. These first responders get to go to work, and I believe that is a truly honorable calling for us here. So I would like to thank everybody who took the time to participate today, and to many of the other professionals who assisted in today's program, just to kind of make this happen for our day today. As you go about your business, I would ask you to pause and reflect on the time that we've mentioned before. Come over here, take a look at the beam and that. I'm going to give you with one final assignment that will ask our Facebook followers to kind of go along with us here. And again, pause for a moment and thank the first responders and have a prayer for the families and of those who had fallen on that day. Today's service is a day of remembrance and a chance for us to come together as Americans. We all suffered a terrible loss that day, but yet this is a great day to be an American. This day has been called Patriot's Day for a reason, because it has brought out the great patriotic sense that in many situations has been lost in this country, and I'd ask that we all treasure that particular fact. The 3 things that I'll ask you to do in closing here today, and I'm going to call them the 3 B's. Here at the Tinley Park Public Safety Headquarters here, I would ask you to reflect and do these 3 things. Reflect and perhaps touch our 9/11 beam. I would like you to read what is written on the banner above our beam here, and just pause real quickly to take a look at our entire Public Safety Committee, the Fire Department, Police Department, Tinley Park Emergency Management, Dispatch, and our EMS providers, again, who make up our Public Safety Committee. And then over on the side behind the crews over here is our 9/11 bench that we have over there that depicts the heroism that was displayed on the events of September 11th and the days after that. So my final thought is this, is that may the men who are lost rest easy. May their families continue to find peace. For those who respond and who now struggle with stress, medical, and physical concerns, that they receive the help that they need. And may no one ever forgive or forget the cowardly acts that occurred against our nation. In closing, I'll ask Father to come back up one more time and read, again, some very, very stirring, words here for us from Father Michael Judge from the Fire Department in New York. Father?
This is from Father Judge's final homily spoken on September 10th, 2001. good days, bad days, but never a boring day on this job. You do what God called you to do. You show up, you put one foot in front of the other, and you do your job, which is a mystery and a surprise. You have no idea when you get in that rig what God is calling you to do, but He needs you, so you keep going. Keep supporting each other, be kind to each other, love each other. You love the job, we all do. What a blessing that is. Father Judge was killed the next morning alongside members of the FDNY he loved to serve while assisting in the rescue efforts on September 11th. Thank you for joining us today. God bless you, and God bless America.
Okay, thank you very much, and detail dismissed. Thank you.